everybody, and welcome to episode number 5 of the Last Minute Wrestling Podcast. Today is a very special day for us because it is the first ever interview on this channel, and I couldn't help but choose an Italian wrestler to do so. That's right, there's wrestling in Italy as well. And actually his name is Luca De Pazzi. Luca is an Italian wrestler currently working in Scotland as a part of the ICW roster, the Insane Championship Wrestling roster. And today we're going to talk with him about how he started, where he got his wrestling training, but also we will talk about the many phases of the wrestling business. What are his ambitions for the future and the current state of the indie scene both in Italy and Scotland. But before we start, I must remind you that I am your host, Frank Mandolini from Italy, and you can look out for the Last Minute Wrestling Podcast by searching on Twitter at LMW Podcast, our YouTube channel and Spotify channel, or you can just email me at lastminutewrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. And now, without any further ado, let's start with the interview with Luca De Pazzi. Hi, Luca.
Hello, nice to meet you and nice to be here.
It's great to have you here. And Luca, the first question is quite simple one and quite mandatory, but I think our audience can be very intrigued by how an Italian guy wants to be a wrestler and starts his journey through the European independent scene.
So like a lot of guys in Italy and in Europe and USA, everywhere in the world, I started watching wrestling around 2003 to be honest, and I was watching like Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, WWE wrestling mainly, and I was wondering if I could do this in Italy, and so I started like searching on the websites if there was like promotion in Italy, and there was like an ICW, so Italian Championship Wrestling was actually ICW was doing like shows in near to my hometown, which is like in the north part of Italy, so it's like near Milan. And I said to myself and a friend as well, it was like, can we try to go there and watch the show? Probably they're not so good, but I don't know, just let's try and see. And we went to the show that night, and it was an amazing experience. Bit different as well, because we went to a WWE show in Milan like 2 months before, and the crazy thing is that the independent scene is different from the majors in some ways, and is very we were like in the front row, so it's different to be like up top and in the help me out, Lee, up top in the
rafters.
And so the was a crazy experience. Like you were living like the show like from the front row, and I said to myself, I want to do this because I saw the guys and I just thought it was possible to do wrestling in Italy. So I started watching like the website, and it was like a training facility near Milan. And after I just turned 18, I just asked the trainer if I could go there and train to be a wrestler, and that's it. Basically, I started there, just never went back. So that's it. Basically, just started in Italy mainly, and then I decided to move around Portugal, Spain, Switzerland, Germany, England, Scotland, everywhere I could.
How long did it take you to get to your first match?
So it took around like 1 year and something, like 1 year and a month probably, because I started like September 2010 and I had my first match around 2012 in July. So yeah, I was like 1 year. So I wasn't like mainly dedicated to wrestling in the first place. So I was doing like other stuff. I was doing a lot of gaming. I was studying. So I had so much other stuff going on. But it took me like, with this stuff going on, it took me like 1 year and something, 1 year and a half, yeah.
And now you are fighting in ICW in Scotland, and which is, correct me if I'm wrong, the biggest promotion there, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
and you're fighting under the gimmick of Luca De Pazzi. Can you describe me who Luca De Pazzi is?
Okay, so Luca De Pazzi mainly is an Italian guy from Milan, so he's a rich guy, and he's very proud of himself, proud of his look. And the thing is also very proud of like his country, like Italy. So the thing is like Italy's and me as Luca De Pazzi, I am the best. My country is the best, and I show you what we really are. I mean, like with the elegance of Italy, like the style and the way of the way I can introduce myself to the crowd. Yeah, the guys the Luca De Pazzi is like this kind of character, so it's very an elegant guy, really proud of himself, and that's it. Honestly, I don't know. I'm trying to just
I can tell. I can tell. Maybe I'll put a picture on the YouTube page,
yes,
so that people can check. But you have this very elegant outfit with the dome of Milan on your trunks, and you have a golden scarf. So yeah, I can tell that Luca De Pazzi is the ultimate fashionista.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. So as soon as you put like the picture, probably someone will just pop up and say like, "Is Roberto De Rio?" So I got this like couple times or more, but yeah, the character is very similar as well to the Rio and Ric Flair and other like this kind of type of gimmicks. Yes.
Yeah, like jet flying, limo riding, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Okay, Luca. Before we were talking off the record, and you said me that the scene in Scotland and in the UK is really thriving about wrestling. Well, of course, not now because of the pandemic, but it is very, very different from what you were used to in Italy. Can you please tell me something about what's the average independent show in Italy compared to one in Scotland?
Usually, like the average crowd that we have in Italy is around like 300 to 500, roughly. And when Scotland is different, like you have like different promotions. So if I have to talk about ICW, so Insane Championship Wrestling, they usually have like the same crowd, but they having like shows mainly in like nightclubs, not like in gyms. Nah, it's more like in Italy we have show more in gyms, like school gyms, and here is more like nightclubs or arena as well. So when you have a show like in arena, so the biggest show in Scotland like was in 2016. I was already here, and it was the Fear and Loathing event, and we had like 6,000 people, like or more, like 6,300 people. So it was huge. It was like a WWE show, basically. A little bit less people, but the feeling was the same. And the crowd is a bit different. Like they know what they're watching. If you go to Italy, like you have not now. Like now is a bit better than like 2010, 12. But like 2010, you had to go in the ring, just go perform in front of like a crowd that wasn't sure of what they were watching. So it was like you had to teach everything. So you had to teach that you have a villain and you have a bad guy and a good guy.
Yeah.
As Scotland is different because they know what wrestling is all about. So they know if they have to cheer for a guy or boo for another. So that's the main like difference from like England, like United Kingdom wrestling and Italian wrestling. I think it's like the main difference in terms of crowd and crowd reactions.
Okay. Well, I've been to a couple of shows in the UK as well. The now defunct WCPW. I don't know if you ever checked that promotion.
Yeah.
I know that another difference, which is how the crowd behaves. In Italy, people don't behave really well. I have to admit it, sadly, because we are two Italian guys talking now. But I think that's another key difference.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting better, to be honest, because if you want, if you just try to watch like Rising Sun wrestling promotion or even like the Fight Forever events in Italian Championship Wrestling, is getting better because the crowd is more into the product, so they know the storylines, they know the characters now, so it's getting better in that sense.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I get what you mean. I mean,
yeah. Sorry to interrupt. When you mentioned a couple of Italian promotion, you mentioned ICW, which is not Insane Championship Wrestling, but it is Italian Championship Wrestling.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have the same name.
Yeah, and the other one is the Rising Sun. Do you want to tell me something about those two promotions?
Yeah, so ICW, so Italian Championship Wrestling, is where I basically came from. So is my main, like, where I trained and where I wrestled all the most in my career. So is the longest, like, they have like the most show in Italy, like since 2001 or 2. They started like 2002, so it's like 20 years promotion, and they had like just wrestlers from all over the world. So we just ICW had like Sami Zayn, Billy Gunn, I don't know, just and many more. I mean, like from WWE and like American promotions. Yes. And so is the I mean, like the main promotion in Italy. Rising Sun is like another promotion that started like in 2016 and is more focused on a indie style of wrestling. So they're having more like guys from the indie scene. So like David Starr, recently they had David Starr. They had like Will Ospreay back like 2 years ago or 1 year ago, I can't remember. Yeah. So they're more focused on that product, and they have a lot of stuff as well on the YouTube you can watch. I mean, it's like free. So same goes for the Italian Championship Wrestling. So they're both like working very well just to improve the wrestling scene in Italy and get the scene like working better. The thing is, like, if you just try to just pick people from all over the world and just get to wrestle like Italian guys, the Italian guys are getting better as well. So the wrestling scene is getting better in Italy. I don't know if you got what I mean. Like,
yeah, definitely. Definitely. We all should learn from the people who are more experienced than us. That's actually the only way to do that and improve quickly. About I want to tell you something about your wrestling attire. I saw that on your trunks you have the Dome of Milan, which is reimagined in a graphic way, and it is very, very, very cool. I just wanted to know who does your attire, who comes up with the ideas that we see on your attire.
Okay, so this is a bit crazy because I make my attires, so I made wrestling attires like for as a main job, and I have 2 jobs at the end. So there's one job is like to make attires for people, for colleagues, and the other job is to wrestle. So yeah, it's crazy. So I just created my attire, and we're currently making like attires from WWE guys as well. So like Nikki Cross, Joe Coffey from WWE NXT UK, Killian Dane back in like 1 year ago. Now is just wearing jeans. So. But yeah, that's my main job, and we work like to ship gear worldwide. So we got an order today from Korea, so that's cool.
Well, and that's so cool.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, I make my gear. So the idea of the dome is something. The thing is, like, if you're from Milan, you just go out and go in the city center. The first thing you see when you go when you exit like the subway, you see like the dome. There's this big dome, and that's the main thing in Milan. So I just thought it was the best thing to put like on the back of my trunks. So because I'm from Milan, and that's the gimmick as well. So
yeah, that's what everybody thinks when they think about Milan. That and also the fashion. So yeah, that really ties in with your character. Oh, that is so cool that you have that you do your own attire. And if you want to plug some of your channel, feel free to do it.
Yeah, sure. So the company is called like JJ Wrestling Creations. So we work for like USA, worldwide, as I said. So yeah, just check in on Facebook is JJ Wrestling Creation everywhere. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram as well. And yeah, so if you want just to have a good looking gear like me, just go ahead and just send a message.
Yeah, perfect. And where can we check Luca De Pazzi?
Luca De Pazzi is, so the thing is like, I have to mention here. So Luca De Pazzi was born like 1 year ago, less than 1 year ago. So before I had another character that was called Paxo. And I'm still doing Paxo as well, like in like few shows. And it was more like a clown, creepy guy with face paint. So the opposite of the other gimmick.
Really the opposite.
Yeah. And so I had to figure out the best way to have my socials like in a good way. So if you check on Twitter, it's just Luca De Pazzi. So Luca De Pazzi.
Okay.
On Twitter. And, Facebook as well, you can find me as Luca De Pazzi or Paxo. It's like PAEXXO. And Instagram is Milan_Nightmare. That's my Instagram.
Okay. We will check you out, Luca.
Thank you.
And let's finish this conversation with some hope for the future, because as we now know, the wrestling is temporarily shut down.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah.
And I'd like to ask you, what were you about to do? What were your next matches? I imagine that you had some bookings cancelled or some storylines that have been halted at the moment. What will you want to do once this madness is over?
Okay, so yeah, of course, like all the bookings I had, well, they are cancelled now. So the thing is, like, I want to go back. Just I need to wrestle again because it's so bad to just stay home and do nothing. And I want to go back and wrestling in ICW, Insane Championship Wrestling. And I want to travel, to be honest. Like the thing that I love, like I recently wrestled for WXW. My last match was WXW in Germany. Okay. And it's so nice to travel, and just have the chance to wrestle in front of other crowds. And so my goals are just like, one, for sure, just to travel and just see other countries and have the chance to just work in other countries. And another thing is like I want just to have the check on my list on like the big European promotions. Like I just want to wrestle in Progress and OTT. That's one of the goals I have now, like just to mark everything. Like, so I have WXW, Insane, OTT, and Progress. I think they are like the biggest promotion in Europe. So
you want to make a name for yourself in Europe.
Yeah, just like I think like everybody in the wrestling business. So yeah, I mean like the wrestling business here.
And do you see yourself one day in WWE or other major promotion in the United States, or who knows, Japan or whatever?
I mean, I hope so, because when I started, as I said, like at the beginning of this podcast, my dream started from the WWE. So it's a big goal that for sure it will be like, now they have like WWE NXT UK as well. So the chances are a bit more than a few years ago. And yeah, I hope so. I hope to have the chance at least to have a tryout or WWE. That's my main goal, like my childhood goal. But yeah, I just like AEW, Japan, and I love Mexican wrestling as well. So I don't know.
You're into Lucha Libre.
Everybody, yeah, a lot. So I love like Lucha Libre style, and yeah, the culture as well of Mexico and Lucha.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so if somebody from Mexico is listening right now, there is Luca De Pazzi is available for bookings.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
It's worth repeating one last time. Plug or your Twitter, Instagram, whatever.
Okay, so Twitter, you can find me as Luca De Pazzi. Instagram is Milan_Nightmare, and Facebook, you can find me as Luca De Pazzi as well on the page, or Paxo, PAXXO.
Okay, Luca. Thank you so very much. It was really great to have you on the Last Minute Wrestling podcast.
That's my pleasure. Thank you very much for having me, and hope to talk to you soon. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye, Luca.
Bye-bye.
And that was our interview with the ICW wrestler Luca De Pazzi. I hope you enjoyed this one. Next week, we're going to stay firm in Scotland to check how other territories are faring. Always remember to check out the Last Minute Wrestling podcast all over social media. And as usual, I have been your host, Frank Mandolini. Like, share, and subscribe to the LMW podcast channel. And please, guys, stay safe.